Point number 3. Point number 3 is you're empowered to go further when you sit not on the table of the mockers, but in heavenly places. I love the Message translation, and it says that God must like you. You do not go to the smart mouth college. Let's talk about smart mouth college a little bit.
Come on.
College. What was the last thing that you were smart about it? What was the last thing that you just complained or you just whinged about it?
Yeah, right.
Maybe it was your conference allocation?
That's just the hills.
Maybe not. Maybe that just happens in the hills.
Yep.
Or was the weather? Right? A few summers ago, a friend of mine from college as well, he posted something on the Facebook like this. I cannot stand this hot weather anymore. Can someone please bring back winter? I cannot wait to wear my layers again and my leather jacket. And as his friend, I'm reading that, I'm like, I can't believe you just wasted your time posting something like that. Because one, nobody can freaking bring back winter.
Yeah.
Second,
Straight up.
get over your first world problems.
Oh!
This season.
Yeah.
But I realized that we like to complain. It gives us this little sense of power.
It's true.
It gives us this little momentary feeling that if we were the boss, or if we were in control of the situation,
Yeah.
we would have done things differently. But the reality is that complaining is not changing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's good.
When I was growing up,
That's great.
I used to love ham and cheese sandwich.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah.
I could have it every day.
Of course.
And one day, all we had was toast and butter. And I turned to my mom and said, Mom, I need to buy more ham and cheese. She said, Wesley, and you know you're about to learn something when your mom changes the tone and says your full name. Wesley, did you know that I grew up in the slums in Rio? And I think there'll be a photo up on the screens where my mom grew up. And when I was growing up, all I had for breakfast was a little bit of coffee and flour, like powder flour, so I could fill up my belly and go to school. That's how poor my grandpa was. Well, all of a sudden, I stopped complaining about what I did not have. And I became so thankful for my toast and butter.
Yeah.
What is that causes us to stop complaining about things that we don't have or about things that come at us
Come on, bro.
and turns us into so grateful mood, so thankful without changing the circumstance, because the reality was that I still didn't have ham and cheese.
It's true.
But all of a sudden, I was so thankful for what I had.
Yeah.
I started a blog before coming to Australia, and I received messages almost every week. And I'm gonna read one to you, if you allow me, and it goes like this.
Read it.
It was in Portuguese, so I translated.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, for real?
Hi Wesley, your story is beautiful. I used to dream about going to Hillsong College, but I feel like this dream is so far away now. Maybe one day I'll be able to visit Hillsong Church. Pray for me. Big hug.
Wow.
So I'm reading this, and I've read messages pretty much like this every month throughout my college journey, and I'm thinking, am I really gonna complain about assessment? Am I really gonna complain about my practicum or about what I'm going through, that I don't have the money for the next tuition yet? Like, am I complaining about things that are other people and hundreds of people dreaming about?
Yeah, bro.
And I dreamed about it before coming. You dreamed about it as well. I don't have this right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do the best that I can and get the best out of these 3 years that we're gonna be here.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, that's it, bro. Love it.
And I love that in James chapter 1, verses 2 and 3 says, consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials, because the testing of your faith is producing perseverance.
Come on, bro.
I love what Sherina said, and I love what this verses highlights is whenever. It doesn't say if. Because problems and trials will come at us. This is a non-negotiable. We don't live in a safe zone, in a problem-free kind of environment.
Yeah.
But the way we respond to those problems, that's what you can decide.
Yeah.
And when I was wrestling with this verse, I was like, God, how do you expect me to consider poor joy something that comes to harm me? Or something that gives me anxiety, something that makes me sad, something that has nothing good about it. But you want me to face this with poor joy. That just not makes sense.
Yeah.
And he didn't give him a formula, didn't give me an answer, and that was exactly the point. It does not make sense. But the reality is that the things that inspires us the most in life are the ones that make least sense.
Yeah.
I'll give you some examples. We all know maybe Nick Fujic. This guy has no arms and no legs. And he goes all over the world. And wherever he goes, thousands and thousands and thousands of people want to hear him. And I wonder why. And I believe it's that because a guy without arms and without legs, it just does not make sense to be so joyful, to have a wife, to write books, to have kids. Like, how did he do that? What would make sense would be a guy like him crying every day, miserable because of his circumstance.
Yeah.
We all know Paul in our Bibles, and he wrote a few letters, and one of them is the Philippians. This letter is known amongst the theologians as the joyful letter.
Wow.
And there is a few verses that we quote as Christians. And one of them is, I can do all things
Through Christ,
Christ gives me strength.
through Christ who gives me strength. Now, do you know where Paul was when he wrote this?
Prison.
He was in Rome in a prison. He was in a place where he could literally not do anything. He couldn't do anything.
Right.
But he was writing to the church and saying, guys, we can do all things in who gives us strength. Now, what would make sense would be Paul writing to the church, hey, Philippians, pray for me. Sorry, I can't do anything. I am in a prison now. I can't help you guys. You guys need to do this Christianity thing alone. But he didn't. His circumstances did not dictate the way of his heart, the mood of his heart.
Yeah.
Right. Come on.
Come on, bro.
And I turned with the Browns to finish up. And one day I was at Brandon's house and we were playing soccer in the backyard.
Come on, man.
And one of his little kids, Jaden, he has this horrible skin disease. He has to tie all his arms and feet every day. And he came to us and he was limping. And Brandon said, hey mate, stay seated for a bit, just let your feet rest. And he said, no Dad, I want to play. I said, no, sit down, your feet is sore. He said, no Dad, I want to play.
Wow.
And he played for over an hour.
Wow.
And as we were playing, I realized that all that kid might ever know in his life would be through the lenses of pain.
Yeah.
But he just doesn't care.
Come on.
That's not a big deal for him.
Wow.
And he taught me so much about perspective.
There it is.
Perspective is the word
Come on.
that can stop us from complaining and become so thankful without changing our circumstance.
Yeah.
Perspective is what we get when you go to heavenly places. Perspective is what we get when we stand in the Word like Sherina said, and we walk in the Spirit like Lee. And we get perspective in life, and we realize that sometimes the battles, the problems that we are complaining about, they're so lower level. They're so small.
Come on, bro.
And there are bigger fights to fight for. There are bigger problems that we need to pick up on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
I want to finish like this. If you could close your eyes and revisit your life now and everything that you're facing. Maybe it's the tuition that you're anxious about, or maybe there's something going on back home. And you're saying, God, I need perspective now.
Come on.
All that I see in front of me is this problem. All that I see is this huge problem that I can't see through. And if that's you now, I want you to lift your hand and say, Wes, I want to pray for perspective. I need perspective in my life. You can open your eyes, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to change our perspective.
Come on, brother.
I'm going to ask you to stand. And if it was your problem that is standing in front of you, this is what you need to do. It's exactly what Sherina said. You need to take a stand.
Yeah.
Take a stand in what the Word says.
Come on.
Take a stand that the Word says you can do all things and God who gives you strength.
Yeah.
Take a stand that I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to sit down and do anything. Maybe put a GoFundMe. I'm going to do whatever it takes to go through this problem. I'm going to take a stand and I'm not going to complain.
Yeah.
Now, this is the second thing you need to do. You need to get higher perspectives.
Yeah, bro.
And I'm going to ask you to jump on your seat right now. You can stand on your seat.
Bring it home, baby. Bring it home.
That's it, bro.
Now, here's the thing. If you're not in the first or in the second row, you can't even see me anymore.
It's true.
Now, if it was to be a problem, and you take a stand, and you take a step, you're gonna be able, with godly perspective, to see through your problems.
Come on, bro.
They're not gonna change, they might be still there, but you're gonna see through that, and realize that there's a bigger perspective for you. That we are standing on the wicked side. We are on the side of eternal life. We are on the side of the Lord.
Bring it home, baby.
There's a song that reminds us about that, and we're about to sing.
Yep.
And you can do whatever you want. You can stay in your seat. But this song reminds us that we serve a God who conquered death, and that's the biggest problem we could ever have in our lives.
Yeah.
We're standing on the winning side.
Yeah.
The enemy has been defeated.
Let's go.
Because the enemy has been defeated. Death couldn't hold you down.